If you're over 60, I'm sure you've heard a ton of advice on what not to eat for your heart. But what if there was one single meal that could actually go to work for your arteries? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We are going to build that meal, ingredient by ingredient. But before we even get to the food, let me ask you a question that might sound a little strange. What on earth could the bacteria living in your mouth possibly have to do with your heart health? Seems totally unrelated, right? Well, stick with me because the answer is a critical piece of this whole puzzle. All right, so to figure out the solution, we first have to get a really clear picture of the problem. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is this arterial plaque we're always hearing about? So, in the simplest terms, think of your arteries like pipes. Arterial plaque is basically this gunk that starts to build up on the inside of those pipes. And just like in your house, as that gunk builds up, it narrows the opening, which makes it a lot harder for blood to flow the way it's supposed to. So, what is this gunk made of anyway? Well, it's mostly a combination of three things: calcium, a fibrous protein that kind of acts like a cement, and of course, cholesterol. But the cholesterol isn't just floating around by itself. It gets carried there by a protein, specifically that small, dense kind of LDL, which acts like a tiny shuttle bus, dropping the cholesterol right where the problem is. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. A huge part of this process involves something called biofilms. You can think of these as little organized colonies of microbes. And what they do is they build these tiny protective shells around themselves made of calcium, almost like little calcium igloos. This is a big reason why arterial plaque becomes hard and calcified over time. Okay, so now we know what plaque is made of. But that leads to the really important question, right? Why does it even start to form in the first place? Yeah, so why does this stuff get stuck inside our arteries? You'd think the inside of an artery would be super smooth, kind of like a non-stick pan. And if it were, plaque would have nothing to hold on to. And that's the key. Plaque only starts to form when the artery wall isn't smooth anymore. It needs a rough patch to grab onto. So what causes that damage? Well, it could be tiny lesions. It could be chronic inflammation from diets high in sugar or oxidation caused by processed junk foods. Once that damage is there, that little LDL shuttle bus we talked about shows up to act like a Band-Aid, and that's the very beginning of the buildup. And this brings us right back to that question about your mouth. Get this. Scientists have actually found pathogenic bacteria, the bad guys, from the mouth living inside arterial plaque. So how do they get there? Well, if you have things like bleeding gums, it's like an open doorway for these microbes to get into your bloodstream and take a trip right down to your heart. Okay, so that's the problem. It sounds a little scary, but here's the good news. There are things we can do. Let's talk about the specific nutritional tools we can use to build what you might call an arterial shield. First on our list is vitamin K2, and its job is, well, it's absolutely crucial. Think of vitamin K2 as the traffic cop for calcium in your body. It stands there and literally directs the calcium, telling it, hey, you, go into the bones where you belong, and you, stay out of the soft tissues like the arteries. Next up, we have vitamin E. This one is our protector. It's a powerful antioxidant that helps prevent those initial little cuts and scrapes, that oxidative damage on the artery wall. By keeping the walls smooth and healthy, it basically gives plaque nowhere to get a foothold. And rounding out our big three is vitamin C, which is a real double-duty hero here. First, it's essential for strong, healthy gums, which helps slam the door shut on those mouth bacteria. And second, it's a powerful antioxidant that can go in and directly interfere with the formation of those nasty little biofilms. So, we have our key players, vitamins K2, E, and C. Now for the fun part. How do we get all of them together onto one plate? It's time to build the ultimate artery-clearing meal. The foundation of our meal, the star of the show, is going to be wild-caught salmon. And why salmon? Because it is absolutely packed with omega-3 fatty acids. These things are incredible anti-inflammatories that help cool down inflammation in the arteries and support the heart muscle itself. Our second component is a secret weapon. It's a true superfood. Sauerkraut. This amazing fermented cabbage is an absolute powerhouse for your gut and your heart. It's teeming with a huge variety of good bacteria that do some really incredible things. So just how powerful is it? Get this. A single serving of sauerkraut can have up to 7 times the recommended daily amount of vitamin C. That makes it an incredible biofilm buster. Plus, it's loaded with probiotics, and here's the really cool part, it's also a great source of vitamin K2 because the healthy microbes actually produce it during fermentation.
Okay, the final core piece of our meal is a big, beautiful salad with an arugula base. Arugula is fantastic. It's a cruciferous vegetable, it's loaded with potassium, which helps keep your arteries flexible, and it has tons of fiber to feed all those good bacteria in your gut.
But we are not stopping there. Oh no, the arugula is just the beginning. We can supercharge this salad with a few key additions that will make it even more powerful. Here's how we're going to do it. For the dressing, we'll use extra virgin olive oil and a good vinegar like apple cider or balsamic. Both are great for fighting inflammation. Next, we're tossing in sunflower seeds for a fantastic hit of that protector, vitamin E. Then we're going to shave on some authentic Parmigiano cheese for a rich dose of vitamin K2. And finally, some fresh garlic for its incredible antimicrobial power. Now, a very important heads up about the cheese. The source material has a warning. With Americanized Parmesan cheese, sometimes they add a filler called cellulose, which is literally wood pulp. You heard that right. To get that rich vitamin K2 that we're after, you've got to find the authentic stuff, Parmigiano Reggiano, the kind imported from Italy. Shaving some of the real deal onto your salad makes all the difference in the world. So let's just take a step back and look at what we've built. See how it all comes together? This isn't just a random collection of foods. It's a complete system. You've got the salmon fighting inflammation with omega-3s. The sauerkraut is a triple threat with vitamin C, K2, and probiotics. This salad brings it home with vitamin E from the sunflower seeds, even more K2 from the cheese, and the power of garlic. Every single part has a job to do. And really, that's what this all boils down to. Every meal you eat is a choice. And now you have a blueprint for a meal that does so much more than just fill you up. It's a meal designed to actively build a shield for your arteries. So the question is, what are you going to choose to build today?